6 hours? No, it's 6 o'clock. Oh,
Crank's ready, I
okay,
believe.
yeah. Good evening, everyone. It is now 6 o'clock, so we'll begin our meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone to the DeKalb County Central United School District Board of Education regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 21st. I'll ask all those that are able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Angie, could you do roll call, please?
Lauren Anderson.
Present.
Ellery Armstrong.
Present.
Tony Baker.
Present.
Tony O'Neill.
Present.
Katie Feaster.
Present. Thank you, Angie. We'll begin tonight with our presentations. Our first one up is Mr. Harrison with our annual district safety review.
Thank you, Mr. Teeters, the board. As Mrs. Armstrong shared, I am Austin Harrison, the district safety director. I am also the principal at James R. Watson Elementary School. So tonight we're going to just talk through really the state of safety here in the district. There's a wide variety of things we'll touch very surface level. One thing I do not have included in here, but I may have to next year, are guidelines for how to use a propane grill when we're cooking hot dogs. Mr. O'Neill, how are we doing?
I'm great. Thanks.
Had a little incident at the Foundation Golf outing on Friday, but everyone's safe and okay, so.
We'll do a video for it.
Just switch to charcoal. You won't know.
Charcoal, switch to charcoal, that may be the answer.
Or switch
I'm gonna
cookers.
check and make sure your microphone is on, Austin. There should be a green
It's
light
green,
on.
yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So we do have a school resource officer program that's really expanded during my time as safety director. Next year, I'll be going into my 8th year in that role. We do have 3 school resource officers, and then we have a K-9 officer, Rollo, that's housed at our high school, but he really floats around the entire district. Kids love him. He's probably our favorite officer. You can see a picture of Rollo right here with Officer Josh Heffelfinger, who's stationed at the high school. Really, this is not a summative list, but it's really just kind of the bullet points of partnerships and collaboration we do have within the district. I can't say enough of here in DeKalb County, not only at the local level, but the state level, the partnerships that we do have. So just a shout out to all of these different organizations, and then obviously not everyone's on the list, but really appreciate the ongoing support we have throughout the community. There are some pieces of the safety plan we can't get into, just aligned with Indiana code, just due for safety reasons that we would have to talk about in an executive session. But a lot of this is really to be transparent and informative to our community. So funding is a big piece with school safety. Obviously, we all know the funding has shifted in the state of Indiana over the years. There are no funds that are directly earmarked for safety. So this is a grant that I apply for every single year. I also look for other grant opportunities, but this has been a consistent one that has helped us as a district just be fiscally responsible. It is the Indiana Department of Homeland Security Secure Schools Grant. The last 3 years, I've applied for the maximum amount, which is $200,000. It is a matching grant. So we use district funds from our operations account to match $100,000 with what the grant gives us of $100,000. With that being said, the most we've ever got is $185,000. So that was last year. It was $92,500 that the district had to match with the grant funds. So that's been submitted again here at the end of June. We should know by the end of August if we're going to get those funds and what that looks like. I did attach a link here. We typically include this presentation on the district website. It really breaks down. This grant used to fund about 5 different categories, and I think it's up to 14 now. So it really shows you we're being asked a lot of the times to go back to the same pot of money. Anytime something new gets added from the safety perspective, they always bring up this grant. Contractors bring up this grant and talk to me. Well, we already have a lot of those funds allocated for our school resource officer program. Community involvement is key. Really, school safety it's not one person, it's not one group of people. It really takes a community effort. These are just a lot of the different organizations that I'm involved with on behalf of the district. The one in red is a new one. We're kind of in the early stages. the Judicial Reinvestment Advisory Council. So the opioid money, there were various legal settlements over the past few years, working with Neil Blythe on what that may look like of that council and how we can reinvest those funds within our community. Those aren't anything that came to DeKalb Central. It's really DeKalb County as a whole of funds they've got to look at how we could help support our youth, but also our community as a whole with some of those opioid settlement funds. Countywide collaboration. So we actually just had our active shooter training. We've done this for the past 4 years. Hosted at Garrett High School, July 14th and 15th, just last week, was a great event. We had a lot of DeKalb Central employees who came. Mr. Teeters was an active participant within the training. Went really well. What I will tell you is law changed last year where we have to have a safe school commission within the county. So DeKalb County, Lakewood Park, us, Eastside Garrett, we meet quarterly. I'm the chair of that commission, and really we're going over best practice. We're going over updates on laws, talking about what are you doing, what are you seeing, if we're seeing similar trends. What's nice about it is it's not just school represented there. We have the county prosecutor, Department of Child Services, various mental health organizations. It's a great opportunity just to bounce ideas off of each other. So we do meet on a quarterly basis just to ensure not only we're complying with the law, but we were doing this 3 or 4 years before the law just because we knew it was best practice. Training's key, and this is really district-wide training that we do. And once again, this is not all the trainings we do. This is just kind of the bullet points of the things that are really embedded in the culture here at DeKalb Central. CPR certification, we have monthly certifications that we offer for employees. This isn't something we have to do. A lot of these trainings aren't things we have to do by law. They're things we do because we feel they're best practice. So we do have multiple staff members who are trained to give CPR training. Approximately 60 staff members this year were trained. Stop the bleed training. By law, we have to have 5 staff members per school trained. So it's essentially tourniquet training if there were to be an incident. We also have had all of our bus drivers trained. That's just something we felt was best practice. When you look at who is in a position of potentially needing to use a tourniquet to save someone, you look at bus drivers, you look at maintenance with what they're doing. So we felt like that was best to provide that environment for our kids if there were to be a need. We have the standard monthly drills. We do tornado, earthquake, active intruder, Narcan training. So all of our school nurses have been Narcan trained in case there were to be someone with an overdose or overdose-like symptoms. Something we actually have just shifted to this year, I believe it was on last month's board agenda, is the Neffy. So it's the first FDA nasal spray for someone's having some type of allergic reaction. So we have made that shift working with Jen Hagar, our district nurse. Really, her and I had a lot of conversation about this, and a lot of it, what it came down to is we already have a lot of people trained in Narcan. It's a nasal spray. This is a nasal spray. People a lot of times are more comfortable giving a nasal spray versus putting a needle into someone if that were to be the case with the previous EpiPen. It is FDA approved, so that is a shift this year that we've done as a district. Then the last item is Indiana Department of Education School Safety Specialists, and that's actually shifted. It's underneath the Indiana Department of Homeland Security now umbrella. We have 23 school safety specialists in the district, and I bring this up every year, but it's something I'm proud of. We only have to have 1. So really, I'm the only person that has to be trained in that academy and in that training. We have 23. We have a minimum of 2 per building. We have central office staff trained. We have school resource officers trained. And this really goes back to my philosophy. It's not one person. I mean, I can't be everywhere when certain things are happening. You have to ensure we have the appropriate people trained and give them the resources to be successful. And I think we've done a really good job of that. So just some different compliance pieces here. We do have a district safety team that we meet quarterly. I think that's great conversations to get. We have all of our directors there. All of them play a different role in school safety when you're talking from food service to technology to maintenance. Just a lot of positive conversations that come up when we get face-to-face and can have those conversations. Tonight, you will have a recommendation for me for our safety and intervention plan for the 26-27 school year. So it's highlighted as you look at that recommendation this evening, but there's 2 bullet points I'll just briefly talk through. The mental and behavioral health support piece of that plan. New language is added, but it's not a change in practice. Really, by law, we just had to put into the plan resources we're currently doing, such as having a school counselor on site, having a registered nurse on site. We have a MOU with the Northeastern Center. We have a student assistance program. We have school resource officers that are CIT trained. So basically, Ms. Vaughn and I worked and really just put that language, things we're already doing, into our safety plan. So that's coming to you tonight for approval. And then the last page of the plan, the site vulnerability assessment, this is something we've had in place also. Every 3 years, we do a site vulnerability assessment. So really what that does is looking at the operational side of the building. Where are there gaps? Do we need to look at new doors? Are we having issues with this classroom door locking, not locking? Are we having issues with just the flow of traffic or the flow of things? We do that every 3 years already. We now just have to upload the most recent plan within our safety plan. So they're not changes to any practices we're doing, it's just new documentation within our plan. State Fire Marshal inspection last year, everything went well. Any variances we had, we were ensured to take care of those in a timely manner. Just was notified recently, transportation passed their Indiana State audit for this past school year. Then on the right side, something I'm really proud of, and really kudos to Jen Hagar. Her and I work very closely together with school nursing things, but also school safety. Sudden cardiac arrest team. So by law, we had to have a team last year. So she really took the lead on this. And not only do we have teams now, but we hosted the first ever DeKalb County countywide sudden cardiac arrest drill. And I would argue it's one of a handful of counties in the state that have done one. We did that at Watson here this past spring, and then actually Watson has been Project Adams certified, which means we're a heart-safe school. So that's something we're moving this year into with our other schools. Starting with Waterloo in the middle school, we're gonna work on getting that certification with the goal here in the next year to 2 to have all 6 of our schools heart-safe certified. Once again, this is just a breakdown of our school resource officer program. The big thing, I think it's important to note at the bottom, so they track interactions through the school year. So this could be a call to service, which could be, I need to talk to an officer regarding, where a child's at, or just get a thought partner to talk through a situation. This could be canine checks, home visits, calls to service, securities. It's just interactions they're having with students. We had almost 3,500 interactions last year. So I think that's an important number really to have out there in the community, of how much these officers are involved with our kids, doing building security checks, having lunch with students, and that's really the purpose of the program. I know when we see an officer there, they're here to keep the school safe. That is their top priority, but they're there to build relationships with the kids. I mean, that is the day-to-day of what they're doing. They're building those relationships. They're a trusted adult for our students, and that lasts on once they leave DeKalb Central Schools. That lasts with those kids and those officers just in our community, outside of the school setting. Really, this breaks down the role of the SRO. We've really made a focus on having them involved in attendance meetings and home visits. Really, a lot of times when a kiddo is missing school, there's usually more to the story. They're a big piece of us having that conversation with parent of how we can support, how we can get the kid to school. They're a big part of educational lessons. So when we do Red Ribbon Week, when the high school has a wide variety of different courses that align with anything that could work with what Josh Heffelfinger does at the high school as a law enforcement officer, he goes in, he leads educational lessons, and then they've also participated in professional development for our staff. Just some more things we continue to do as a district. Two-factor authentication. We've had this for a while now with the Duo Mobile. Really just best practice at this point. You see this in a lot of industries. LineWise is our school network monitoring system, so we're monitoring what is happening to ensure our students are being responsible with their devices when they're at school and at home. Continue to have a student assistance program as students are struggling. We do have a resource with the Northeastern Center for them to access some mental health supports. And then we do have a feedback or a tip line on the district website. And I encourage people, report really anything. It can be a safety concern, but this can be just sharing feedback on things we're doing great, but also things that, hey, I see this gap. There's a lot of times people in the community may see something from a different lens, so I just encourage people to use that on our district website. Really, the last thing I have, and I'm super excited about this, here in May, myself, Mr. Teeters, a few of our board members went and saw Detective Rich Wistowski down in Plainfield, Indiana. It is a cybersecurity event. He's an expert in the field. He goes throughout the entire nation, just talking about best practices and things that parents may not be aware of that their kids can do on their phone, on their smartwatch. And I think this aligns very timely with everything that's going on with a lot of the wireless communication and that bill that's being implemented here, not only at DeKalb Central schools, but throughout the state of Indiana. I think it's a great opportunity just to be informed, and that's really the purpose of this. So on September 10th, we will have a community event. It'll be at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7:30 at the middle school. And then the following day, all of the high school students will have an assembly and the middle school students with him as our speaker. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great opportunity. This is the flyer that we will start pushing out heavily. I'm working behind the scenes trying to get donors. Already have the DeKalb Central Foundation gave a generous donation. Have some others that some have agreed to, some are in the works. So definitely we'll make sure we recognize those people who have supported this event as well. But I just want to show it's a 2-minute video of our detective that's coming, of kind of his purpose and what he brings to the table.
Stole somebody from the Attorney General's office, and then I had 2 computer forensic examiners from Will County. But I have 75 to 80% of kids doing this. They're setting their children up for failure because my kid would never do that. Yes, they will. So this is the issue. No matter where I'm at, from Oregon to Florida to New York to Texas, it is the same everywhere. You're allowing predators in your house. Every device, even their Apple Watch, needs to be garage kept in your room. Spot check your kids. Just put in search, don't tell. And see who's telling your kid not to tell you stuff. You can message, you can see stuff on there. No, every device has to go in your room every night. Telephone harassment and/or electronic communication, or both. We made it through the Senate with no opposition. Now it's in the House. If you go to SB 2741, the website is ilga.gov. Tell me what that conversation was with Sarah. She snuck out of her house and did what? That's your only time. When you get that intel, you got to capitalize on it. Use those opportunities. When you hear something, wait till you drop everybody off and have a private conversation with your kid.
So really the purpose of this community event, kids have devices, we all have devices. I think it's just educating parents on how to have those conversations, what to look for, just to ensure we're keeping our kids safe. So that's the whole point of the event on September 10th. This was a great way to end the presentation. Absolutely. So we have Odin, who was our previous K-9 officer, and then we have Rollo here. So don't tell the other officers, but those are for sure our students' favorite 2 we've had over the years. So does the board have any questions for me at all this evening? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Austin.
Mr. Harrison. I'm excited that we were able to get that officer to come here. Katie and Tony and I were at the, yes, yeah, Katie.
School safety
Yes.
officer
And
conference.
just hearing a little bit of it was very eye-opening. So I'm excited for other parents to hear it from his perspective, so, yeah. All right, up next, we will adopt and amend the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Item F is our consent agenda. This includes items F1 through F5, board minutes, financial report, claims, personnel, and field trips. We do have a field trip on there for this evening. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Item G, our donations. Mr. Peters?
Just a large amount of donations. This past month, the James Foundation awarded a $2,000 grant to DeKalb Middle School for the appropriate books for the young adult section at the DeKalb Middle School Media Center, so that's really exciting. And then the DeKalb Central Foundation awarded a $1,000 grant for funding to support the expansion of that same library. So congratulations to the middle school, and thank you to those two foundations for supporting those endeavors. High school had a number of different donations. I think it totaled well over $30,000, and that's because the vast majority of that came through the Ron Cook Memorial Athletic Golf Outing. Just a great turnout. I think it was max number of teams that could participate, huge number of sponsorships. That event just seems like it's growing every year, and $30,717.11 was the total on that. And then we had various other amounts supporting band, cheerleading, and the athletic department. So once again, the community does not disappoint. They just turn out every month and support the programs we have for our kids. So thank you to those individuals and those entities and businesses and foundations that support us each and every month.
Thank you, Steve. Up next is item H, report of the superintendent. Item H1 is the 2026-2027 school safety specialist recommendation.
So you heard from Mr. Harrison already. If you have any additional follow-up questions, he's certainly here and can address those, but I bring for your recommendation from Mr. Harrison the approval of the list that's been provided of our school safety specialists for our school district for this school year. We have, I believe, 10 elementary level, 3 middle school, 5 high school, and 5 at the district level. So for your consideration to approve this evening.
Thank you. I'll ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Item H2 is our district safety and intervention plan.
And as Austin did in his presentation, he referenced the safety and intervention plan for the board's consideration to approve. I believe he commented on the highlighted sections of that plan, so I would just present for the board's consideration to approve this evening.
Do we have a motion to approve the safety plan?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, other than, says a lot if we only need one. We got 23. And it also says a lot for your leadership, because you wouldn't have 23 followers if you couldn't. So, great job.
I would just add that that's something that really stood out when we went to the safety conference, was there were several districts that presented, and so much of it was review for us because we're doing so much of that already. And that was very reassuring to be there and think, you know, this is what DeKalb does. So that felt really good.
Good stuff. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, oh, no. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Item H3 is our 2026-2027 elementary fundraisers.
All right, so last month you saw middle school and high school, and so this is not an action item. This is just for your information. bringing forward the anticipated fundraisers at the elementary level. Again, we try to, we ask the elementaries to provide information relating to what their anticipated amount they believe they might be able to raise, kind of the time frame of it, what it's going to be used for. So we have all 4 of our elementary principals here this evening, so if you have questions about any of them, certainly take advantage of doing that this evening. But this is purely information to present to you and no action to be taken, but just to inform the board. We have a lot of fundraisers, as you are well aware, and I'm sure you get hit up in the community a lot of times from community members and families and parents about, you know, what we're asking money for.
Thank you. Did anyone have any questions regarding? Item H4 is our Bright Point Head Start Memorandum of Understanding.
This evening, I'm requesting the school board's approval to enter into our annual agreement with the Bright Point Head Start program for the upcoming 2026-27 school year. This agreement will continue our partnership to provide high-quality early childhood education and comprehensive support services to be eligible preschool children, or to the preschool children and their families. Their families is an important part of this with Head Start programs. We're very fortunate because we have one in the backyard of Waterloo Elementary. So that's really helpful on collecting and getting the message out for families and kids. A draft of the proposal was included in your board packet. Nothing really has changed since last year. This is just an annual requirement that we have and that Head Start has. So if approved, we'll get Superintendent Teeter's signature and I'll get it back to Head Start probably tomorrow.
Thank you, Lori. This time I'll ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item H5 is our high ability appointments.
Okay. This is just kind of a nice opportunity for us to ensure continued support for our district's high ability program in compliance with state requirements. This evening, I'm asking that you consider approving the following people to continue the high ability work programming. We do have a vacancy in the coordinator's position, so I have a recommendation for that also. The high ability programming team consists of a coordinator and then a building liaison at the elementaries and the middle schools. So again, this evening, I'm asking that Keely Glasper be approved as the high ability coordinator. Keely is the new instructional coach at James R. Watson Elementary, but has a lot of good experience in high ability programming. High ability building liaisons will include Colby Kane at Country Meadow Elementary, Keely Glasper at James R. Watson, Jamie Grandstaff at Waterloo Elementary, Kelly Haber at McKinney Harrison Elementary, and Logan Miller at DeKalb Middle School. I also included for you the compensation for these positions. The high ability coordinator stipend will be $3,000 a school year, and the building liaisons at $1,300 each.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Do I have a motion to approve our high ability appointments?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item H6 is our request for the 2026-27 Goodwill Industries in Northeast Indiana MOU.
So this is another annual requirement that we enter into every year. This is a memo of understanding between DeKalb County Central Schools and DeKalb High School and Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana. Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana Pre-Employment Transition Services is a program that has been at DeKalb High School for the past several years, working to support our students. The Pre-ETS, or the Pre-ETS program, works with students who meet specific qualifications to prepare them with skills to maintain a job after high school. Program helps students develop their confidence, job exploration, and work-based learning experiences, and this program is vital to the success of our students after high school. We look forward to having our students in this program, and Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana has been a very good partner for us.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the MOU?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Roughly how many people do we have in this every year, do you know?
I don't know, Marcus, about how many students can you, off the top of your head?
This past year, we had approximately 20. But
Sure.
we're looking to expand that. Some of it's a schedule conflict, so working with Goodwill to try to get during SST, because that's the best time.
Right.
And we're not disrupting their learning schedule. But there's been a lot of great success just with the Make Crazy Things that are sold at the Goodwill store here in town and across Northeast Indiana. But it's just, it's another support. But we really got to capitalize upon it because we're also, this will be the first year that we don't have a JAG class, which they work very similar, but
Right.
just with the same similar pots of funding. The JAG program is realigned, we'll do some workshops, we'll do after hours, so this will help supplement some of those needs there.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item H7 is our policy review and proposed revisions.
Okay, I'm going to walk through this kind of slow because there's a lot of information and both to put forth this evening, but also in your packets, you receive quite a bit of information. Again, this is our effort to clean up, revise, review our policies as needed, and working with now ISBA to make sure that we're aligned to the state regulations and the Fed regulations. What we're finding is in most cases, we are. We've also discovered that Neola is a little more wordy than ISBA. So revising and adapting ISBA policies has really been a nice change of pace for us. And I give credit to Mrs. Brown, Angie over there. She and I wade through this together, and she's really good if I say this, and she says this, and this, and then maybe this. So we have a good tag team going with this. And tonight, what I am presenting just as proposed and for review, 3 policies. The first one is the acceptable use of the internet. Neola policy 7540.04 for student and .03 for staff. And then also I provided for you the ISBA 4340 for student and 3331 for staff. The revisions have been a combined review between DeKalb County School District Technology Director Craig Jones and myself. I gave these to Craig a couple weeks ago to take a look, and he waded through them and helped to update some of the things that are new. It's kind of my dress code theory. You know, every year we have to look at the dress code because something new becomes popular. And with technology, which is much more serious probably than dress code, something new becomes popular. And the cybersecurity that Austin presented this evening, that program probably changes annually because of the different things that are happening. So Craig did a great job of looking through this. Here's what we need, here's what we don't need, and you'll see that reflected in your Neola existing policies, and then of course the proposed policies, and we have them for both students and staff. The second policy that I'm asking you to take a look at, review, is reporting threats, intimidation, battery, and harassment against school employees and also students. And so again, it's presented the same way basically as the technology. We present the Neola policy to you first, which is what we have in place. And then the revisions, there's quite a bit of strike through, you'll notice. Again, just the facts, just what we need. We did not make anything less, what do I want to say, not really punitive, but addressing less in any of the policies than we do now. Again, most of it was language cleanup and getting to the point. And so we have those policies for both students and staff. And then finally, with the help of Mrs. Helmsing, our HR director, we took a look at resignations. This was one that ISBA recently put out for us to consider looking at. You can see we basically took the Neola policy and we took then what ISBA is proposing. It's, again, pretty much the same. What was the major difference, Melissa? I'm drawing a blank here between what we had in place and what ISBA offered. Do you remember the sentence? And the other major difference, I think, was that once a resignation is tendered, it may not be withdrawn or its terms changed without the consent of the board. That's probably the biggest thing, and the rest of the language was similar. So those are the policies that my ask is for you to consider, review. Next steps will include first reading at our next meeting in August, not the July 31st meeting, but the August regular meeting. Then we'll have time for public comment, and then we'll call for a vote on whether or not to approve these as presented. These will also be posted on the website tomorrow for public review, and of course, you know, anybody can contact the central office, myself, Mr. Teeters, if they have any questions and or concerns. And if approved, then they'll be, again, on the website underneath our policies, but also in place.
Great, thank you for your work on that.
Okay. I have a good team. I have a really good team. Takes a village to do these.
Item H8, is there permission to apply for and adopt, or I'm sorry, and accept the 2026-2027 state and federal grants?
So this is another annual requirement. Each year, we have to seek permission from the school board to apply for and accept state and federal grant funding. And we have a lot of that throughout the year. We like the blanket approval because of the timing around the grants so that we can move forward. The pre-application for Titles 1, 2, 3, 4 has already been submitted. We're still cleaning up a few things. About every other day I get an email, but we're getting there. And then once that is approved, then we'll start applying for those Title 1, 2, 3, 4, which are bigger federal grants that we use for our programming. So just need permission to continue applying and then accepting the money when we get it.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, moving on to Mr. Rom. Item H9 are student supplemental fees.
Yes, just a little history on course fees. In 23-24 is when the state eliminated any charging of parents for any kind of course fee. So 22-23 was the last school year we could collect course fees from parents. In 22-23, we collected over $384,000, just over that, in student fees. So the following year, 23-24, the state said no more. We will still, you know, the state gave support for curricular materials. Unfortunately, it fell well short of what we needed to cover course fees. So for those 3 years, school years that we've had, we have collected nothing from parents in terms of any kind of fee for anything. We included supplemental fees, everything to do with education. We didn't charge parents anything except, I think the only charge we had for parents was Chromebook if there was repaired damage that they had. So we have collected nothing. A lot of school districts through that time had gone ahead and still were collecting some things. And we're seeing more and more now. The state has finally loosened the reins and is allowing school districts to recoup some supplemental fees. So this is what our presentation from work session went over. This is what I'm bringing to the board this evening. As they've limited those, it's important to understand that we are not asking fees for anything that we are required by law. Textbooks, instructional materials, cannot be collecting fees from parents for any of that. We are not asking for that. We are only looking for things that are supplemental. I'll give some examples in a minute. The biggest thing that probably the board and the public is interested in is the fee structure. Our elementary levels, K through 5, this will not include preschool, just K through 5, we will collect $35 per student. And for the middle school and high school students, so 6 through 12 will be $50 per student. These fees, you know, alone at the elementary level, we have supplemental math and language arts materials that we provide to our students that aren't necessarily needed by the classroom teacher, but we feel obviously enhanced learning experience. Examples of those include we provide electronic textbooks via the web for all students at home to have at any time. All of their workbook that they have on hand in the classroom, we provide those electronically. Those are six figures and more per year to the school district to have just that alone. So what we're hoping to recoup here is around $100,000 to $125,000. We realize not every student is going to be able to pay it. Free and reduced students do not have to pay this fee. But we are just trying to recoup whatever we can to enhance the educational experience of our students. Again, as I stated at the work session, we are not trying to make a profit. We're not trying to make money off of our parents. I take very seriously any time we ask our parents for money, which is why we had the work session to begin with. I will post everything that we had on our work session for parents to see as well on our website. I am available to answer any questions parents may have. We're seeing more and more school districts go to it. East Side, DeKalb Eastern, went to it last year. They're charging a flat fee across the board of $50. NACS went to it. I think last year they have $40 fee for their elementary and $60 for the high school. East Allen, Leo area has a flat fee of $60 across the board. More and more are going to it because they're seeing the need. We were very lucky come 23, 24 because we had an extremely healthy cash balance in our curriculum materials. That's why we were able to go those 3 years without asking our parents for anything. This is not going to recoup, as I told you, in 22, 23, so that's 4 school years ago, right? We collected over $364,000. So you can imagine the needs, supplemental-wise, only increase every year, right? Teachers get more creative. They find ways to help their students. We don't want our students to lose out on those opportunities. So we were asking our parents, if able, to hopefully be able to help us with a supplemental fee. Another note for the parents and for the board to understand is that we will take payment plans. They will be able to log in and see their balance of their supplemental fee. They can pay $5 a week. We're not going to look at anything until the end of the year anyways, so they have plenty of time to get these paid. So I'm just bringing to the board. I hope that you will support the supplemental fee to help our education fund out.
Thank you, Mark. At this time, I'll ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think in the work session, you did a great job explaining all that process, and it's like you said, we're not trying to make money, but we're just trying to ease the pain a little bit, just so we can keep our kids doing what they need to do.
And again, I'm sure with registration tomorrow, the questions are going to abound. I'm going to make my way around. Gina Burr, business manager, will be everywhere. All the treasurers and all the buildings are well aware. We'll be there to answer questions. The door is always open. We're just hopeful that the parents can understand.
Sure.
Yeah, we did have good discussion about it, and just knowing some of the history I was around with 4 kids in school at the time of having that surprise, oh, you owe like $1,100 for your kids' textbook fees, and so this is a very small portion now. It's much better, but I do know like it's the last couple years, some parents, especially like elementary parents, haven't had to pay anything. So when you look, you have like a $35 charge. It's like a little surprise to people, but like you said, you don't have to pay tomorrow necessarily at registration, and they will work with people and give them time. So I think that that's all very beneficial. And when this came down, like this is what we were doing, we didn't really have a lot of guidance. And I know you guys were kind of like, how do we do this, and trying to figure it out. And we definitely took our time with it and didn't rush to make any decisions. So I appreciated that with you guys all. So, but.
My last year was the year they started the no fees, and we felt no change in what we needed. So we felt fortunate that we were in a good situation. So I think as a district, we've done a really good job of supporting whatever was needed.
All right, good discussion. At this time, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And item H10 is approval of our Prescription Protect client agreement.
Yes, it's in the ever-changing world of health insurance and prescription drugs, as we also went over in our work session, and I sent the board the presentation from RX Protect, which I think is excellent. That's our data. I'm still waiting to hear back from legal. I think I can post that to our website for our people to see. I'm not sure. I always want to check that anytime you're dealing with HIPAA, things like that. There's no names or anything out there, but I always like to be extra cautious so I'm dealing with things like that. But that gives you a good idea of what this program, if it's successful, would be able to do in terms of saving money. And basically what RX Protect is going to do is a pharmacy cost management company. They partner with people like us that have self-funded health plans to help us find ways to cut costs for not only the district, but for our employees that are on our health plan in terms of prescription drugs and specifically specialty prescription drugs. They will do everything they can to help each one of our people. And they have the list of our most used drug prescriptions. And we will begin with board, if the board does approve this, we will begin immediately with the education process of our staff in terms of, hey, these are ways we can save money. This is the way you can save money in the district. As I pointed out in the work session, we need to find ways to help our self-funded plan as we are hemorrhaging a little bit of cash in that area. And this is the first step in that process. I point out to the board, I'll remind them again, this is completely voluntary. It's not mandated to our employees to use this program. We will educate them, we will help them, we will hope that they will use it, but there's in no way mandatory. If you had a chance to look at the agreement, they are completely, performance-based, and what they will make money on is if they convince our employees to use this program and get the drugs from them. That's about it, all that I can think of. Yes.
Can you explain to everybody that's here and that's watching why this is becoming so important?
Sure. The biggest thing, as we've looked at our drug costs in the last year and a half, is in the history of it, is when we had to switch from Three Rivers Preferred, when Parkview dropped out of that network, we wanted to protect our employees that were still with the Parkview, doc. So we switched to Anthem with the national plan, and with that, and I'm not blaming, anything on one person or any one thing, but we have seen our health insurance fund drop in the last year and a half by 37%. So that is obviously a major concern for me, and any one of our employees that's on our health plan. So as I pointed out in the work session, there's very few levers to pull when you're a self-funded program. Premiums, which no employee wants to hear that's involved in the healthcare plan, would have to go up. And finding ways to, spousal carve-out is the second one, which no one wants to hear that one either. Spousal carve-out meaning if you have a married spouse in, a household that has a job that offers insurance, they have to get a plan through theirs. It's not optional. They cannot be put onto our health insurance plan. They are forced to get their own. So that's something we want to avoid because, and believe me, anyone that deals in this world, we are one of the few that haven't gone to spousal carve-out. It's becoming the norm. It is what it is, unfortunately. I want to avoid it as long as possible, and the way we can do that are ways like this. If we can get buy-in in RX Protect and other programs that allow us to save money through prescription drugs, that will alleviate some of the hemorrhaging of money out of our health insurance fund.
What would you say the cost of insurance has increased from last year to this year?
In terms of,
What's the overall spend for the first 6 months of this year compared to the first 6 months?
yeah, I'm sorry I don't even have that on here. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it was the, I can pull it up. Give me 1 second because it was on my slideshow. I have that. But I think we're looking at, last year was about 364, and this year we're looking at 436. Right now, that's, obviously we're only 6 months in, but with the next 6 months, and that's just about exactly what it is without looking at it.
Now that's
So,
annualized, right?
That was the annualized figure because we're only 6 months in. I can't give you, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. But annualizing it out was roughly $70,000 more than last year. And the year before was another $75,000 to $80,000. So we're seeing that steady increase.
70,000 per employee?
No, district-wide.
Overall.
Oh, just
Overall.
the district?
Yes. So as we see, what I look at the most is obviously the overall balance. And if I see that number dropping, then I have to dive into, okay, why is that happening? And as I showed at the work session, obviously the health insurance portion of it, doctor visits, procedures, that still is the draw, but our prescription drugs, we have seen a massive uptick. And I gave the example of the one drug in Solara that we've seen, you know, I think in the last 3 or 4 months was over $100,000 was our buy-in on that. That was our cost. So those are the drugs we're going after to begin with, where we can save, I mean, enormous amounts of money. If you saw, I don't really like to point this out, but it is where we're at in the health insurance world. RX Protect will draw 33% of the savings as their fee. That's low in this world of people that help the prescription drug. So just imagine, they're able to draw 33% and we're still going to save, if things go well with our employees, over 75% for our employees between the district. I mean, it's just astronomical in terms of, you know, what we spend in prescription drugs, both the district and our employees. So I think the selling point of this will be when we get it to our employees is when we can show them this, you're going to basically get some of these drugs for free. We're going to have some no cost. They're going to be able to find some things that are really going to help both sides.
I think that's the key, is that the employee is also going to save.
Correct. Not just the district,
Yeah.
but the employee as well will save.
Yeah, and I went through and looked at our insurance costs at work, and the overall cost did not go up much. It was less than 1% for our overall.
You're talking in your
Where
job.
I work, we were less than 1% increase overall spend. Now, that's medical claims plus fixed costs across the board. But because we joined with Cameron with a very similar program that you're talking about, our RX dropped 50%. So, small company, it's not as big a
No,
deal.
but that's what we're hoping for.
The percentage is what.
Absolutely.
Where we saw an increase was, one, number of people that joined the plan. We saw an increase in the people that joined our plan. And then two, in the administration costs.
And we watch those.
The fixed side.
And that is very negligible. We've been lucky, even though we haven't been exactly thrilled with Allied. Our administrative fees are fairly low.
Yeah, well, I actually asked for a detailed
Right.
breakdown for the administrative costs.
Yeah.
I saw they came in at a much higher end percentage than what they said they were going to.
Yeah.
So I asked for a detailed expense report. So we'll say it's
Yep.
actually like only. Wanted to get.
Yeah, I believe you're still doing some research too on some of the
Yeah, absolutely.
claims
And you know, we're kind of, I don't want to say I'm paused, but I am waiting for board approval to move forward on this, but this is a nonstop thing as, you know, January is when if we make any other decisions, we need to have things to the board in the next couple of months to start having that discussion.
right.
But
Well,
this is something we can
help now. Yeah.
do now.
This is something, I mean, there is a 60-day where we have to, you know, by law, to educate the employees on it. Even though it's optional, that still is in place. But we can begin that process. If board approves, we can start that tomorrow and start pushing some things out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
At this time, I'll ask the board for a motion to approve the RX Protect client agreement.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this brings us to our miscellaneous, and I will open up to our board members for anything they have to share or speak to tonight.
Mr. O'Neill, would you like to go first?
Sure, I'd like to go first. You know, school starts in 2 weeks, so the summers seem like they get shorter and shorter and shorter, even though mine doesn't end. But I would just like to thank the people in the superintendent's office. You know, people think that the schools have the summer off, and the administrators as well. You know, you probably get to use your vacation time maybe 2 days at a time. But with all the hiring that you have to do and rearranging things, and people don't understand that the buildings need to be, I'll use the word refurbished a little bit. And if you ever go into a school in the summertime, it's crazy. Not just looking at the outside, but the inside. So I'd just like to thank everybody involved with not only the superintendent's office, but all the administrative office people that, you know, they don't get the summers that the kids get or the teachers get, but it's a lot of work that's behind the scenes that's I'm sure it's underappreciated, but I want to thank you for your work and your time and your efforts, because you make this ship run pretty straight, and I appreciate that so much. I love the smell of moving dirt. I'm an old baseball coach, and when the custodians get outside and they start mowing the grass, it's just, there's nothing like the smell of grass in the spring. And if you haven't been around the building, and if you got kids that are driving, I would recommend you get you and your kids to come out now, because every day there's something new that's going on the property. So your normal path coming in and going out will change in the next 2 weeks. So come and see what's going on. I know that there's pictures and new video we got of the new parking lots, so that's kind of cool. But you need to come out and see what's going on, and things are happening. That's why we're here. Things are happening, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll just add to Tony's comments that, I mean, I think that there's been a tremendous push forward with all the construction that's taken place this summer, so it's fantastic to see all these projects underway. I think everyone's been very diligent, working very hard, keeping in mind, you know, the start of school day is fast, or our first day is fast and quickly approaching. So for the parents out there that are going to be driving their students in on the first day, please give yourself ample time because traffic patterns are changing, and then also, you know, it just is taking extra time just to be able to get in through the front entrance. So keep that in mind as you're preparing for the first day.
Good point.
Just have a great first day. It's so exciting. I love the first day of school. It's so fun.
It is. All
It
right.
is fun, Tony. First days are a blast. Kids are crazy, crying. It's a great day.
The summer went fast,
Hard
though.
day.
Yeah.
Kids-
Does our administration have?
I got a few. I'll just reference, I'll piggyback on the comments about traffic flow. Certainly, there will be information that will be sent out, obviously before the first day of school, August 5th. But if you came in on campus today, you'll notice that they've already got the temporary fencing. They're starting to install that for the Barron Activity Center. And of course, we thought getting that in place before the school year started so we could get that traffic flow starting the right way, day one. There will be frustrations, there will be wait time, and that's normal on the 612 campus, but it'll even be more so. So we would just ask that our parents, or if you're bringing kids to school on the 612 campus, please provide a little extra grace and patience, and we'll do our best to make sure that we get out through Parent Square and other means, the map of the traffic flow and how that's going to work. We've had to adjust our bus transportation pattern, so kudos to Danielle at the transportation department. We're going to need some flexibility on their side of things as well. It's really going to take everyone. We will have an extra presence out in the parking lot at arrival and dismissal times, at least to start off our school year, because we know there's going to be some extra help that is going to be needed to make sure that people are getting to the right locations. So I do want to remind everyone, we have 1 day of in-person registration, and that's tomorrow. So a great day. Starts at 11 a.m. in all 6 of our buildings and extends till 7 p.m. You can do just about everything remotely, but we still think it's a great idea to come into the buildings and kind of see the physical space that your child is going to be spending hopefully 180 in-person days with us. Starting on that Wednesday, August 5th, that's just 2 weeks from tomorrow, and then we have our all-staff opening day on Monday, August 3rd. So I'm hoping all board members are invited to attend that. We're at the high school. We will begin, doors will open at 7 a.m. We'll be in the auditorium, and we'll begin the program at 7:45. So those things are just around the corner. So thank you for allowing me to share those.
Anything else?
Just excited for the first day.
Yeah.
I would just say, I'm not gonna bring up any incidents at the DeKalb Central golf outing, but someone else did. But I will say, in both of our outings that we had, our DeKalb Ron Cook athletic outing and the foundation outing, I believe this year we once again set records for revenue coming in. And I played in both outings. Well, I attempted to play, I guess I should say. And I tried to get around to talk to as many people as I could and thank them, but I just wanted to take this opportunity It's not it's amazing to me to see the vendors and the community members, the past grads that show up for both of these events to support DeKalb Central. You know, without them, a lot of things aren't possible, we couldn't do. So I just want to take one last opportunity to thank everyone that sponsored, played, and did anything for either one of those outings. And that includes board members, you know. Tia was out there doing hot dogs, Lauren was out there, I think everybody was working, so, it's appreciated to see the buy-in from the community and our vendors, so I just want to take that opportunity to thank them.
It's nice to see ex-students from DeKalb that are coming in.
It's
and play.
amazing, I love that.
Out-of-towners, you know, they get a day off of work and then they go out to, obviously, you know, if you haven't been out to the high school, you need to buzz out there because it's changed.
I guess we would probably be remiss, she's not here, but Jamie Marley heads that up. I mean, we do have an executive director at the foundation now, but kudos to Jamie Marley, because without her, and I know it from personal experience, incessant badgering, donations.
In a good way.
In a good
In
way.
a good way.
Totally positive. But she's amazing.
Yep.
DeKalb Central will miss her, as she just retired. But what she does for the foundation golf outing is amazing.
Yep.
And it wouldn't happen without her.
I agree.
Yeah, it was a great day. Could have done without the atmosphere smoke. but
Yeah.
That was a little, but
There was a lot of smoke that day.
it was great.
What's smoky?
All right, we have one person that's signed up to speak tonight, Mr. Greg Lance. Would you like?
After Austin's presentation on the districts this year, so as usual, you knocked it out of the park.
Okay, great. Thank you. Does anyone else in the audience have anything this evening? Okay. Well, I will read into the minutes that we will have an executive session right after this meeting here at the central office boardroom. And then our next special board meeting is on July 31st, and that will be at 7 a.m. here at central office. And then our next regular board meeting is August 18th here at 6 o'clock p.m. At this time, I'll ask the board to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.